Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Knife Chats with Tobias. I guess we'll call this my second look at the Queen Stockman. Try and say that 3 times fast. In any case, this is a Queen Stockman made in the United States by, Queen Cutlery, but now that it is under the trademark of Smoky Mountain Knife Works. So Smoky Mountain Knife Works has contracted out with another knife company to make these knives. In the first video, I mentioned that maybe it was Case, even though my first thought when I saw these coming out was that they were going to be either made by Buck or by Bear & Son. And the earliest USA-made Queen knives that SMKW produced were definitely made by Bear & Son. But when I got this one, the quality seemed better than what I normally see from Bear & Son. However, most other people have said also that they believe it is Bear & Son. And there were some comments made by a spokesperson from Smoky Mountain Knife Works on YouTube that leads me to believe that these are indeed made by Bear & Son. With that said, however, the blade etch and the however, with that said, the tang stamp on here reads Queen, and the blade etch on here reads Queen Cutlery number 9. So this is a number 9 Stockman by Queen. Yes, it is being produced most likely by Bear & Son, but Smoky Mountain Knife Works owns the trademark. They're responsible for any of the defects of the knife and everything else. And we see here the Queen Knives USA warranty, that Queen Knives USA bestows royal warranty to each original purchaser of its knives for such purchaser's lifetime. That Queen Knife USA bestows a royal warranty to each original purchaser of its knives for such purchaser's lifetime, that Her Majesty's knives are free from any defect in material or original craftsmanship, blah, blah, blah. So SMKW owns Queen. They stamped it. They are responsible for the quality control of these knives, regardless of who they're having make the knives. With that said, also, as many people have mentioned, Bear & Son is probably who they are contracting with to have these knives made. Now, further on, as you can see, the build quality of this is pretty dang good. You can see right there, there is no spaces in here or anything. I know you see that little gap there. It's a very minor gap between the back spring and the liner. There is no gap between the Stag and the brass liner. You do have brass liners. You have what appear to be either brass or nickel silver pins. I believe they're nickel silver pins. You have a nickel silver shield on there and nickel silver bolsters. The knife is really well made. Blades are, I would not say the walk and talk is real smooth. Not as smooth as what you get in a Case, but the action is good and the blade stays in place when you get it open. I feel that the pivot could probably be a little cleaner on it. The blade etch on there is done nicely. Queen Cutlery number 9. This is their 3 7/8 inch Stockman. It's got the long clip blade here. And then on the other side, you have 2 blades going on. You have a sheepfoot blade. If you see right there, there is definitely a little bit of blade rub happening. The grind on the knife seems okay. It looks like there might be a little bit of a nick right there or a roll. I'm not sure. Just noticed it right now under magnification. That might be, well, that's on the inside, so it is not from the blades hitting, but we did notice that there is some blade rub between the sheep foot and the spay blade. And that is happening because when I open the knife, I am pushing the spay blade into the sheep foot. So if you wanted to avoid the blade rub, you would have to open that blade and then open it. That's the way to avoid it if you're worried about keeping the knife in pristine shape. Spay blade, not too bad. No nicks or anything on there. Decent enough grind. I would not say it is a perfect grind, but it's a pretty good grind going on. All in all, you've got a good, well-made knife. Price-wise, the price isn't bad either. You're looking at $10.95 carbon steel, which is something that a lot of people are really going to be interested in, $10.95 carbon steel. And then you also have some pretty decent looking stag on here. Now, that's something else that I need to mention. When I saw the stag that was on Jersey Knife Guy's knife, I looked at one of those pieces and you see the little bit of ramp that I have here. He's got a piece that has such a ramp that it's just unbelievable. The angle is really insane. And if I would have seen that to begin with, I may not have picked up one of these knives. I picked this up as soon as they were released. If I would have seen his stag, I would have been thinking twice before I went and bought one. So fortunately, I have what I think is a better looking stag than what he has. That is a problem when you're dealing with natural material. The stag is going to vary from knife to knife. If you're worried about that stag being kind of funky or something, I would go with the green jig bone. That will be a more consistent handle material than stag. But I bought it simply because of the stag. I'm very pleased with the knife. I'm happy with it. Blade action could be a little bit better, but the price of the knife is not bad. There is no wobble in any of the blades. The blades are really set in there quite well. For a knife made by Bear & Son, I'm actually quite impressed with it. I think it's a pretty well made knife. Like I said, there's no blade wobble. The action will improve over time, and also, like I said, I probably need to just clean it out a bit, and it will also help clean it up or get that action moving a little bit better. Are the blades centered? Definitely not. You can see right there, this blade is running right along the edge there. It is not hitting, but it really looks like it could hit. Yeah. Just a plain old nail nick on them, which is fine. All in all, I'm very pleased with the knife. I'm happy to have it. Will I be picking up the trapper in this stag? Probably not, because it's a trapper. But I am happy in some ways that they are going with Bear & Son for these knives, because Bear & Son does make a 5-inch toothpick. And here's the Bear & Son 5-inch toothpick in their rosewood. Fairly decent knife. You see there, Bear & Son USA. And they also made the Colonel Coon toothpick for Smoky Mountain Knife Works. In this case, it has a threading on the bolster, and they did it in 420 steel. But if they come out with a new Queen large toothpick, large 5-inch toothpick by Queen in Stag, you know I will be buying it once again sight unseen, simply because it is a large toothpick and it will be in Stag. And so hopefully that will happen. And well, it would fit in the 10, so that would be pretty cool. In any case, that's where I am with this knife right now. Very pleased to have it. I think mine is really good. I know that Stag can be tricky. And like I said, I saw Jersey Knife Guys. I was not as impressed with the Stag on his as I am with the one on mine. The knives will have some slight flaws in there. Maybe that is just growing pains, or maybe that is just, Baron Son. But for a knife by Baron Son, they definitely stepped up their games. This is better than your typical Baron Son knife, at least mine is. And I'm very pleased with it. Has some of the very common flaws that I see in just about any Stockman, such as the blade rub and, not the perfect incentering and stuff like that. But those are things I'm used to in a traditional knife. If you're somebody who is dead set that blade has to be perfectly centered, there can be no blade rub or anything else, you're probably going to be very disappointed in this knife. But for me, this is a knife that definitely competes with Case, and in some ways even competes with GEC, because these are going to be more easily available for purchase, and they also are a lot lighter on the pocketbook than the GEC. So that's where I am with the Queen Stag Stockman and the new Queen USA knives, now that Smoky Mountain Knife Works owns the trademark. Pretty good knife for both the pocket and for the collection. Okay, before I go to the slideshow, maybe the other thing I should show you here is this Queen Stag Stockman compared to the other 3 Stag Stockmans that I have in my collection. And so first off, this is the Queen again. And this is the Queen compared to my number 32 pattern Case Stockman. And you can see the difference in the Stag. This is Genuine Sandbar Stag. I believe this is supposed to be Sandbar Stag as well. But you can see there is definitely a difference between the 2 knives and the quality of the Stag and the look of the Stag. Both of them, I'm sure, have been torched a little bit to get the nice coloring going on with it. But you can see very much the difference between the 2. This is my Rough Rider. I'm not sure what kind of Stag was used on this. Again, it has been torched a little bit to give it some color and variety. Not as good as, well, the front side looks better than the Queen. The back side, not as much so. This is a much smoother Stag compared to this. This has a lot more character going on with it. And then finally, this is a Gerber. I think this Stag is out of Pakistan. I do not know for certain. But you can see that the Queen is definitely much better than what you're seeing on the Gerber here. This Gerber is, I think, from around 2000, maybe the 1990s. But in any case, there you have it compared to the Stag on a few other Stockmans that I have that are in Stag. Let's go to the slideshow. let me take just a second to thank you once again for dropping by and spending a few minutes here at Knife Chats with the Pious. I really do appreciate it, and I do appreciate any comments that you leave. So please remember to give me that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode is up and running. Thanks again for dropping by. Really do appreciate your time here.